Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of Soul Land 3, Legend of the Dragon King Part 188. Without any delay, start explanation. Have you truly made up your mind? Old Tang looked at Tang Wulin sternly. Yes, Old Tang. I've made up my mind. If I don't fight this time, I feel that I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Although this will make my future cultivation more difficult, I won't regret it. After learning the method of opening up my 8 extraordinary meridians, I've already opened up 2 meridians, and my soul power has increased a lot. Also, it seems that my body's strength has also improved because of Teacher Mu Yi's potion. In addition, there are the needed heaven and earth treasures you mentioned. So, I do stand a chance. Old Tang sighed. A man must leave other things undone if he wants to get some things done. Since you've already made your decision, just do it. However, this is the only time I'll allow you to do this. There'll be no next time. I'll do my best to shorten the time needed for the last few seals. Okay. Old Tang said in a low voice, as long as you can open up all the extraordinary 8 meridians in the next 5 years and connect the heaven and earth bridge, you'll basically not be in any danger within the first 9 layers of seals. Nevertheless, you must remember you cannot slack off because the seals after the 9th layer will be your biggest challenge. Every layer of seal thereafter will be a matter of life and death. Yes, 3 circles. 3 full circles of golden soul rings appeared on Tang Wulin's body. Even he was unwilling to recall the process. The only thing he remembered was this was his most painful experience of breaking through the Golden Dragon King seals. Shortly after he unsealed the 5th layer's seal, he immediately unsealed the 6th layer. The burden it had placed on his body had exceeded his expectations. The burden was so excruciating that he almost exhausted his energy. Together with the support of Old Tang and Teacher Mu Yi's external forces, he managed to successfully assimilate it. That gave rise to the 3rd golden soul ring on his body. The 6th layer's seal was unsealed, and the 3rd soul ring appeared. Tang Wulin's Golden Dragon King bloodline aura was instantaneously raised to the next level. The first person to bear the brunt was Long Yu, who suffered the most intense experience. His bloodline was trembling. The light halo given off by the 3 circles of soul rings seemed to generate an immense pressure on him. Long Yu frowned slightly. He felt, for the first time, that Tang Wulin who stood opposite him was a serious threat. This menace came from his bloodline, even more so from his growth. After being gravely wounded, he had healed and grown with blinding speed instead. They both had a cultivation base of 4 rings, but Tang Wulin's overall strength had improved tremendously. Before, he had lost in terms of strength. Currently, he would undoubtedly have improved on his combat strength. Although Long Yu did not think that the current Tang Wulin could pose much of a threat to him, there was no telling what would happen in the future. If an opponent who possessed a dragon-type bloodline more powerful than Long Yu's was given 5 or 10 years to grow, perhaps Long Yu would be overtaken by such an opponent. Sure enough, Tang Wulin was very powerful. Long Yu's Mountain Dragon King martial soul was stirred up immediately. His body suddenly swelled up. Diana, who stood beside him, quickly took 2 steps backward. She utilized her own martial soul. When her Hell Civet martial soul was unleashed, her eyes lit up as well. Through spiritual detection, she was shocked to discover that Tang Wulin was currently like a blazing golden flame. The thickness of the bloodline aura on his body suppressed her skill so much that she could not detect the level at which his bloodline flowed within his body. He has gotten stronger. Could that fatal injury have improved his cultivation base instead? At this moment, Tang Wulin was already upon Long Yu. He spread his arms sideways, and a pair of giant hammers appeared impressively. When he last fought Long Yu, he had used these giant hammers, which could only be used by mechas, with his disorder-splitting wind hammer to suppress Long Yu until he lost to him in terms of strength. This time, he employed the same tactics. He raised both hammers and swung them mercilessly at Long Yu. The double-pointed lance appeared in Long Yu's right hand. He moved swiftly, and the lance turned into 2 beams of light. He tapped Tang Wulin's pair of giant hammers with the light beams. Ding! Ding! 2 crisp rings were heard. Tang Wulin descended from the skies as his forward charge was halted. Surprisingly, Long Yu took 2 steps backward. From the collision alone, it was enough to reveal Tang Wulin's growth. His strength was stronger than when he fought Long Yu the last time. Even without the disorder-splitting wind hammer, he was no longer inferior to Long Yu. Golden dragon scales covered his entire body, whereby he had unleashed his golden dragon body a while back. Tang Wulin swept horizontally with both hammers as he aimed for Long Yu's waist. On the other side, Daiyuna moved in an arc. She went past Tang Wulin and Long Yu in front of her. With the Hell Civet's agility, she sprinted toward Gu. Gu did not rush forward with Tang Wulin. Instead, she remained where she stood. Seemingly, she had not even unleashed her martial soul. It was as if this match was irrelevant to her. Regarding Gu's strength, Monster Academy had carried out some basic assessment. Their judgment of her was that she was either a long-range attacker or a control system battle soul master. The battle in which she displayed an outstanding performance was when she fought Hua Lantang and Yi Xi with Tang Wulin. In the 2-on-2 match, with her exceptional control over space and the elements, she forced Hua Lantang into losing the match without even donning his battle armor. That was why Daiyuna went straight for Gu the moment the match began. She did not intend to get involved in the battle between Tang Wulin and Long Yu. She knew her limitations, which would not enable her to join in a battle of that level. However, if she could defeat Tang Wulin's partner, her objective would have been achieved. In no time, she had rushed within 50 meters of Gu. A glow flashed on her eyes, and a beam of spiritual assault was unleashed. She knew that Gu had the spatial retreat skill. Hence, she had it planned beforehand. She would control Gu through her spiritual assault to prevent her from unleashing her spatial retreat skill. For a soul master such as her, once she got close to her opponent with her Hell Civet martial soul and the assessment of her opponent using her spiritual detection, she would definitely be able to defeat her opponent within a short span of time. She unleashed her spiritual assault. However, Gu was looking at Daiyuna with a calm gaze. Daiyuna suddenly felt her spiritual power being swallowed by a huge whirlpool within the ocean. Seemingly, she was pulled deep within the vortex. With a muffled grunt, Daiyuna, who had been charging toward Gu at a blinding speed, suddenly staggered. Her body lost its balance and she fell straight onto the ground. Silver light flashed and a figure appeared beside Daiyuna. The figure lifted its right hand, which had clenched her throat. Daiyuna was hanging in the air. All these happened in the blink of an eye. The first bout between Tang Wulin and Long Yu had just ended, while the battle between Gu and Daiyuna had already ended. Daiyuna fell under Gu's control. My God! What's this? Why did Her Highness the Princess's body suddenly lose control, causing her to fall into the hands of her opponent? Even Fanga did not comprehend what she saw, but the outcome was plain as day. Daiyuna had barely shown herself when she was captured by Gu. Silver light flashed again, and Tang Wulin vanished into thin air. When he reappeared, he was already beside Gu. The double-pointed lance in Long Yu's hand hit at nothing. When he saw that Daiyuna had fallen into the hands of their opponents, he was stupefied. Although Daiyuna had a cultivation base of 4 rings, she was a twin martial soul. She was richly endowed with natural gifts such as her Spirit Eye martial soul. Also, she had the Hell Civet martial soul, which was an inheritance from the royal family. Her 2 great martial souls were not inferior to an ordinary Soul King-ranked expert. Specifically, it was Daiyuna who had been captured shortly after making her appearance in front of her opponents. This was truly unbelievable. Don't move or I'll show Elle no mercy. Tang Wulin stared fiercely at Long Yu. A cold intent to kill burst forth from his eyes, which were gradually showing a faint tinge of red. The pair of hammers in his hands disappeared, and he extended his golden dragon claws. The sharp tips of his claws were placed on Daiyuna's head. Everyone knew that, with the sharpness of his golden dragon claws, if he wanted Daiyuna's life, all he had to do was to lightly tap her head, and everything would have ended. Long Yu, do you remember what you did to me the other day? If I kill Her Highness the Princess today, I wonder how much of a responsibility you will have to bear. Don't you dare. Long Yu glared and shouted. Shock and anger were in his eyes. Tang Wulin laughed. He almost seemed insane. Don't I dare? When you were stomping on me back then, did you ever consider this? I'm someone who has died once. What is it that I dare not do? I'll make you die with regret to return the favor of your stomps. As he talked, Tang Wulin's golden dragon claws suddenly shone brightly. No. On the platform, Star Luo Empire's Emperor, Dai Qianling, stood up the instant Tang Wulin delivered his threat. His face was full of fright. President Enci moved swiftly and charged onto the competition stage. The 4 referees had charged toward Tang Wulin at the same time. However, nobody dared to get too close. No matter how powerful their cultivation bases were, under such close range, they could not stop Tang Wulin from killing Dai Yuna. Tang Wulin smiled unexpectedly, an exceptionally brilliant smile. He lowered his right golden dragon claw and shrugged. Thank you for your cooperation. The match has ended, 4-1. As he spoke, he raised his right arm. He turned around and waved at the spectators' stand. Long Yu was stunned. Dai Yuna, whose face was pale and ghastly, had shut her eyes. She was equally stunned. President Enci and the 4 referees who had charged onto the competition stage were all dumbfounded. What had just happened? We were tricked. Enci cursed in his heart. Everyone was frightened by Tang Wulin's fierce looks that were filled with a killing intent just now. Dai Yuna was the Empire's princess. She was the apple of Dai Qianling's eye, whom he cherished the most. In addition, everyone remembered how badly Tang Wulin was beaten up by Long Yu the other day. Imagining themselves beaten to that extent, what would they do? So, when Tang Wulin said that he wanted to kill Her Highness the Princess, almost everyone believed it to be true. This was the most satisfying revenge he could get. This was a competition where life or death did not matter. If he truly killed her, nobody could fault him for committing the act. It was sensible for the referees to charge onto the stage. After all, they were the ones to keep the competition in order. However, President Enci, as an outsider, had broken the rules of the competition when he charged onto the stage. Although Long Yu did not utter the word to surrender, the match had ended without a doubt. Gu loosened her grip on Dai Yuna's neck. Dai Yuna gasped forcefully. Tang Wulin smiled and said politely, "I'm sorry, Your Highness. I hope we have not frightened you, have we? How can I bring myself to crush a flower? That's not what a gentleman would do. Again, I apologize." As he said this, he turned around and descended the competition stage with Gu. Tang Wulin. Long Yu released a furious howl through gritted teeth. Tang Wulin retracted his smile and looked at him coldly as he said, "See you in the team battle." Immediately after, he leaped down the competition stage. President Enci descended from the sky and landed on the competition stage. He sighed inwardly, "I'm truly flustered whenever I concern myself with them." At that moment, even if he was a terrific expert, he must care for the princess's life. All things considered, Tang Wulin's grudge came from being gravely injured by his disciple. If the princess had died as a result, Long Yu would then be accountable. However, when he was being outsmarted by a young man, how could he not feel angry? Long Yu's breathing had become heavier. He looked at Tang Wulin's departure. The double-pointed lance in his hands trembled slightly as he tightened his grip. 4-1. This outcome could not be changed. The party that broke the rules would be regarded as forfeiting the match. With Star Luo continent citizens as witnesses, even the Emperor Dai Qianling could not alter the outcome. On the platform, Tang Bingyao's brows were tightly knitted together. He said angrily, "This Tang Wulin, what's he doing? How can he do that? Don't worry, Your Majesty, I'll ensure that he gets a good scolding later. As one of the representatives of the Federation, how can he compete with such tactics? He's truly gone too far." Dai Qianling shot him a glance and thought inwardly, "That's enough, stop your acting. You can hardly hold back that smile on your face." In fact, even Dai Qianling himself wanted to laugh. Tang Wulin had them confounded. In the previous match, he had fought with his all might, narrowly escaping death as he defended Shrek's honor. However, in the match just now, did he use such tactics because he knew that he was no match for Long Yu? Regardless of the reason, this young man was outstanding. From this perspective, when his own daughter had fallen for him at first sight, it reflected that his daughter had a sharp eye. At the age of 15, he was already exceptional. Thus, given the room for growth, it would be anyone's guess as to his potential. At the very least, he would not be inferior to Long Yu. As the emperor, he had a generous heart. His daughter was not injured, hence, his magnanimity in not harboring any ill feelings. Instead, he had some peculiar thoughts. The expression on his face was a little odd, but he nodded toward Tang Bingyao, acknowledging that he heard him. Then, he returned his gaze to the competition stage. After the solo competition and paired competition ended, both teams had half an hour to rest and recoup themselves. After all, the contestants who were going to participate in the final team battle had participated in the earlier matches. Only when they were given some rest could they unleash their most powerful combat strength in the final match. "Captain, you're so bad." Xie Xie laughed loudly as he welcomed the return of Tang Wulin and Ji Yu. Tang Wulin chuckled, "How was I bad? This is called tactics, don't you understand?" Xie Xie smiled. "I do, and I like it." Tang Wulin said with a straight face, "We've obtained the overall victory in the solo and paired competitions, but the final battle will be the battle that determines the final outcome." The team battle was worth 4 points. So long as Monster Academy wins the final match, they could turn their defeat into a victory and end up the overall victor. Even if that were the case, Shrek Academy's representative team could still be proud of themselves. However, Tang Wulin did not want to lose. Nor did the team members from Shrek Academy. They had worked hard for so long, and this was their golden opportunity. "We'll let you devise our strategy, Captain," Yuan Yehue said in a low voice. She rarely addressed Tang Wulin as the captain. In her heart, she had carried some dissatisfaction all along. Nonetheless, she had called out, "Captain," with heartfelt admiration. Tang Wulin said in a hushed tone, "Long Yu is extremely difficult to handle, but we must still give it a shot. Ji Yu and I should be able to stall him for some time if we work together. During this time, I need you guys to defeat the other members on his team. Dai Yuyang has suffered some serious injuries in his battle with Yuan Yehue just now, so his combat strength will be greatly diminished. It's the same for Su Mu. Xinglan, how are you feeling?" Yi Xinglan muttered, "I'm all right." Tang Wulin said, "All right, in the team battle later, I need you guys to defeat the other members in the shortest time possible. Then, we'll fight Long Yu with all our might. Leave Long Yu to Ji Yu and me at the beginning. As for the others, we'll see how everyone turns out. Lishi, you'll stay in the waiting area." They numbered 8 in total. As a food-type tool soul master, Shu Lishi had given much help to his comrades before the competition despite not joining in the battle. Shu Lishi nodded and said softly, "Shall I make some buns for you guys to take along?" Tang Wulin shook his head. "There's no need. Everybody, let's eat first. Eat as many recovery pork buns as you can to regain your strengths. We must win impressively and with dignity in the competition. We'll not eat any buns during the match." The others nodded. Tang Wulin's return had raised everyone's battle fervor to their peaks. They had never been filled with this much confidence in facing their next battle. Tang Wulin removed a bracelet from his wrist and passed it to Yuan and Yehue. "Captain, what are you doing?" "She's mine." Xie Xie was astonished. He quickly planted himself before Yuan and Yehue. Tang Wulin rolled his eyes. Yuan and Yehue raised her hand and pulled Xie Xie to the side. "Go away." She received the bracelet from Tang Wulin and wore it on her wrist. She nodded toward Tang Wulin. Xie Xie complained with grief and indignation, "Captain, how can you be like this? You've always minded your own business. How am I going to live after this?" Tang Wulin pointed at his own head, "Where's your brain? TSK. Xu Xiaoyan could not suppress her laughter as she stood at the side. "You're so dumb." Captain was giving Yuan a weapon. Xie was embarrassed, but he was not dumb. Nonetheless, he was flustered because he cared for Yuan and Yehui. Upon hearing what Xiaoyan had said, he understood immediately. It was a sudden enlightenment. The pair of hammers. Tang Wulin said pointedly, "What else?" Cough. Cough. "Captain, I misunderstood. I thought that." Yuan and Yehui's delicate face blushed. She grabbed his neck and flung him to the side. Sometimes, she really wanted to beat this guy to death. Yu Jingyu sighed, "Class monitor, how did you make this joker attracted to you? Which part of you does he like? You better hurry up and have it changed." Yuan and Yehui looked at him with keen sparkling eyes. "Shut up, you." "Yes, shut up you." Xie chimed in when he saw a shift in the situation. "You shut up as well." Yuan and Yehui glared at him fiercely. "Yes." Xie shut his mouth immediately. He even made an action of pulling a zip across his mouth. "All right, prepare yourselves, everyone." Tang Wulin pulled Xie over and made him sit on the chair beside him. Xu Lishi handed everyone the recovery pork buns, especially Yuan and Yehui and Yi Xinglan, who had just fought grueling matches. After they ate the buns, everyone closed their eyes and meditated to improve their conditions. On the other side, the atmosphere had turned grim for Monster Academy. "I'm sorry, Brother Long Yu. It's all my fault." The little princess lowered her head. Long Yu ruffled her hair. "I don't blame you. That guy's crafty. No matter how sly he may be, we'll definitely win the final battle. The final victory will be ours. Yu Yang, can you fight?" His gaze was upon Dai Yu Yang. Dai Yu Yang nodded. "I'm all right." After recuperating, his condition improved somewhat. However, the damaged parts of his battle armor could not be mended quickly. The blood essence in his body surged. Currently, he had at most 60 or 70% of his combat strength. Long Yu nodded and said, "All right, Yuna stays here. We'll be fighting later. Be on your toes, everyone. Tang Wulin has another soul ring, and we don't know what its effect is. In the fight later, leave him to me. I'll do my best to suppress him. You guys get rid of the others as soon as possible." "Yuna, what happened to you just now? How could Gu capture you so easily?" Dai Yuna frowned slightly and said, "I'm not entirely sure myself. What I can be sure of is her spiritual power is stronger than mine. That's why my spiritual assault's effects backfired on me when I directed it at her, and I was captured by her. Her spiritual power is extremely powerful." When the others heard this, their expressions changed slightly. Shadow King Ting could not restrain himself from speaking. "Shrek Academy is full of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. To have a spiritual power superior to Yuna's, it's truly unbelievable." Dai Yuna's second martial soul was a spiritual attribute. She was only 15 years old, but her spiritual power had entered the Spirit Sea realm, reaching 2,500 or more, which is unparalleled among her peers. Despite that, she was saying Gu's spiritual power was above hers. How powerful could Gu be? Be careful, everyone. Lin San, you're to take care of Gu the moment the match starts. You mustn't let her unleash her abilities. Her peculiar spatial attribute skills must be crucial to the overall strategy of Shrek Academy's squad. I think her non-participation in the previous matches was arranged intentionally by Shrek Academy as a contingency plan. Wind King Lin San nodded. "Okay, leave it to me." Long Yu said, "Everyone must work together. After the battle starts, put on your battle armors as soon as possible. We mustn't leave any opening for Shrek Academy, and we'll try to defeat our opponents in the shortest time possible. You guys don't have to worry about me. I'll try hard to control my emotions." "Yes, Captain." Currently, Dai Yu Yang was shocked. Ever since he knew Long Yu and the formation of the team, it was his first experience of seeing Long Yu having such a high regard for his opponent. Obviously, if they wanted to win the team battle, it would not be as easy as what Long Yu had said. 30 minutes went by in the blink of an eye. I invite the contestants from both teams to be on the stage for the final team battle, came the referee's voice. The central partition board in the waiting area separating the two teams was lowered slowly. The two teams could now see each other. Tang Wulin and Long Yu looked at each other almost simultaneously. Their gazes collided. A faint smile appeared on Tang Wulin's face. Long Yu smiled as well, but it was not a warm smile. It was a smile that was tinged with madness. Long Yu was never one to be influenced by others. It was the same for this match. He must win regardless of who his opponent was. Representing Monster Academy were the captain, Dragon King Long Yu, and the team members, Tiger King Dai Yuyang, Fox King Su Mu, Wind King Lin San, Wolf King Hua Lantang, Pagoda King Yi Shi, and Shadow King Ting Ting. On the other hand, Shrek Academy was represented by their captain, Tang Wulin, together with the team members, Ji Yu Yu, Yi Xinglan, Yuan Yehui, Yu Jingyu, Xie Xie, and Xu Xiaoyan. 7 against 7, it was a team battle. The citizens of Star Luo Empire had never been more anxious about a team battle as the present one. Everyone was keen to watch the coming team battle, which would be interesting, to say the least. From the previous matches, it was evident that in terms of personal strength, Monster Academy did not possess much of an advantage with the exception of Long Yu. This was despite the fact that their team members had superior cultivation bases. Hence, a rational person would conclude that other than Long Yu, the students of Shrek Academy were actually of a higher quality. Star Luo Empire had always put an emphasis on solo competitions, whereas team battles were considered less important. Individual heroism was more popular in the circle of Star Luo Empire's Soul Masters. Everyone's opinion was that Monster Academy's team led by Long Yu would emerge victoriously. However, after the outcome of the previous 2-on-2 match, the audience was skeptical. Would the Shrek squad come up with some ingenious battle tactics this time? What if they could not turn their strength advantage into a victory? In the minds of the people, they each had differing opinions. Albeit, the one thing they had in common was that they expected this match to be no less than captivating. Fanga was in high spirits. She spoke quickly, the final team battle is about to begin. The team members from both sides are already on the stage. This match will be a full-blown showdown. It'll be a battle that will test the overall strengths of both academies. I wish, in advance, for both parties to be able to unleash their own strengths. Next, I'll be doing some simple analyses for everyone's benefit. On Monster Academy's side, the captain Long Yu is the most powerful among them. He possesses the Mountain Dragon King martial soul. Other than the issue of possibly losing control over his emotions, as an expert-ranked Soul Emperor, he has a huge advantage. He's also an Assault System Battle Soul Master. Apart from him, His Highness the Fourth Prince and Hua Lantang are also Assault System Battle Soul Masters. In addition, there's the Agility System Battle Soul Masters Lin San and Ting Ting. They'll make a powerful combination. Their Master Control Soul Master is Su Mu, who is able to weaken his opponents in all aspects. He also possesses a certain level of combat abilities. Contestant Su Mu is very adept in managing the entire battle. Contestant Yi Shi with the title Pagoda King possesses the strongest tool martial soul, the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda. With her cultivation base, the enhancement the Seven Treasures Glazed Pagoda has on her teammates will be immense. If Shrek Academy cannot overcome this enhancement, it will be difficult for them to win this match. On Shrek Academy's side, the captain Tang Wulin is an Assault System Battle Soul Master. The three contestants Yi Xinglan, Yuan Yehui, and Yu Jingyu are also Assault System Battle Soul Masters. Contestant Ji Yu Yu is a Battle Soul Master who has controlling abilities and long-range attacking skills. Contestant Xu Xiaoyan is a Control System Battle Soul Master. Last but not least, contestant Xie Xie is an Agility System Battle Soul Master. In other words, their team comprises 4 assaults, 1 agility, and 2 controls. Judging by the conditions of the team members from both teams, Monster Academy's combination has an edge. A support system Soul Master has a very important role to play in a team. After all, they enable their team to fight longer and unleash greater strengths. The support system Soul Master on Shrek Academy's side is a food type, but he'll not participate in this final battle. With such a combination, they can gain a slight advantage for a short time. Otherwise, the longer the fight drags on, the more exhausted they'll be and eventually, they'll be defeated. Of course, everything I've said is just a paper analysis. As for how things will turn out, it's a different matter altogether. It all comes down to one critical factor in a team battle: coordination. We'll see how both parties can coordinate among their own teams to obtain victory. The match will begin shortly. Meanwhile, let's rest our eyes and wait. The team members from both teams were already on the stage. On Shrek's side, Tang Wulin stood at the front with Gu behind him. The two who stood at the rear at an angle were Yuan and Yehui and Yi Xinglan. Yu Zhenyu stood at the back of the formation. In front of him, Xu Xiaoyan and Xie Xie stood beside each other. They stood in a formation that was rhombus-like, which looked a little odd. On Monster Academy's side, Long Yu stood at the front. Behind him were Dai Yuyang and Hua Lantang, who stood beside each other. Behind them in the third row was their Master Control Soul Master Sumu, who was in charge of Central Command. Two Agility System Soul Masters stood beside Sumu, while Pagoda King Yiji was behind everyone. Their formation loosely resembled a triangle. Both sides looked at each other from afar. Collectively, there was a strong glow emitting from everyone's gaze. From the commencement of this year's Continental Young High-Ranking Soul Masters Elite Competition, Monster Academy and Shrek Academy had battled time and time again. From the outcomes of the previous matches, Monster Academy had a greater advantage. They were able to suppress Shrek Academy at every turn, and they had won in the solo and paired competitions. However, Shrek Academy had given them a fair share of trouble throughout the entire competition. They had made Monster Academy's journey to victory more difficult than the previous years. Under such circumstances, it was tough to guess which side would attain the final victory in today's match, which kept everyone in suspense. In terms of strength, Monster Academy had the upper hand, but nobody has seen the full strength of Shrek Academy in a team battle. Hence, this was inevitably a battle between two strong teams. Tang Wulin and Long Yu were facing each other again in a finals match. Both of them were proud sons of the heavens, and they both thirst for victory. 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1, let the match begin. The referee's excited voice announced the commencement of the competition. On the platform, Dai Qianling had sat at attention to watch the match. He had also wished to witness an interesting match with a delightful grand victory. He was confident that Long Yu would lead his squad to defeat Shrek Academy. The only thing left was to observe how they would win. Tang Wulin moved swiftly and was the first to charge among all the contestants on the stage. The moment he charged, 3 golden soul rings under his feet shone. He unleashed his golden dragon body. His body enlarged with scales covering his body. He extended his pair of golden dragon claws. His entire body shone with a dazzling golden light as he aimed straight toward his opponents like a golden arrow. Gu tapped the ground with the tips of her toes and followed right behind Tang Wulin. As green light encircled her body, she moved with great speed while the others followed suit, maintaining their formation as they pressed toward Monster Academy. Long Yu took a great stride in Tang Wulin's direction. He unleashed his martial soul. His body enlarged and his double-pointed lance appeared within his grasp. His eyes flickered with a gleam and his gaze was fixed upon Tang Wulin. The previous insult could only be cleared away by a victory. Knowing Tang Wulin well, he wanted to achieve victory in one swift stroke and defeat his opponent in the shortest time possible. Once Tang Wulin was defeated, there would be no one from Shrek Academy who could match up to him. Behind Long Yu, the 7 treasures glazed pagoda shone. Beams of light shot forth from it which fell on her comrades. It was Pagoda King Yiji unleashing her powers. Yiji, who was of Soul King rank, had excellent control over the 7 treasures glazed pagoda. The beams of enhancing light which fell onto her comrades tremendously improved their cultivation bases. Their cultivation bases were enhanced by as much as 50%. For a time, they utterly crushed Shrek Academy in terms of aura. The 2 assault systems, Tiger King Dai Yuyang and Wolf King Hua Lantang, took great steps under her enhancement. They flanked Long Yu as they charged toward their opponents from Shrek Academy. A ring of light released by Su Mu flitted past beneath their feet. Their control system Soul Master had also made his move. The moment Shrek Academy's team stepped into the Halo's boundaries, they would be immediately affected by it. One enhancement and one suppression. Control system and support system. Once the effects of the two systems were completely unleashed, they would immediately put Shrek Academy at a big disadvantage. During the match, Monster Academy had no intention of holding back. What they wanted was to fight with all their might and defeat Shrek Academy in the shortest time possible. They wanted to prove themselves with a grand victory. Lin San and Ting Ting moved separately. Lin San's body turned illusory. He was like a breeze, even the outline of his figure was not clearly visible. When his body floated forward, pieces of battle armor flew out to cover his body in silence, which increased his speed further. He was practically a fleeting shadow. He had reached the sidelines of the battlefield at an amazing speed. This was the true strength of the Wind King. On the other side, Ting Ting had also unleashed his own battle armor. As an agility system battle soul master, it was highly probable that he would be the first to make contact with their opponents. They did not hold back, nor were they reckless. In fact, they were all guarded in their fight. Tang Wulin proceeded with great strides. He was almost within the range of Su Mu's halo. This time, Su Mu had unleashed his second soul skill, Soul Power Stripping Halo. Once a soul master steps into its range, his soul power consumption would be instantly accelerated. Wind King Lin San had shot past Tang Wulin from the sidelines. He did not attack at the first opportunity he had. Instead, he paused. For an agility system soul master, the most important thing was to wait for an opportune moment to strike and finish off the opponent with one hit. Silver light flashed. Gu suddenly vanished into thin air. Spatial retreat. When she appeared again, she was behind Long Yu, to everyone's surprise. To be precise, she appeared behind Long Yu, Hua Lantang, and Dai Yu Yang. The three of them were in front of her, while behind her were Fox King Su Mu and Pagoda King Yi Ji. Over Gu's surprise attack, Su Mu was not in the least bit shocked. He unleashed a debilitating halo, followed shortly by a pitch-black devouring halo which spread outward. Yi Ji was close behind him, and he had a godly protective skill such as reversal halo. So, he was not afraid of close-range combat in the least. Moreover, in their judgments, Gu was a control system battle soul master. Due to Gu's sudden teleportation into their ranks, he was puzzled. What was she thinking of infiltrating their ranks on her own? The members of Monster Academy reacted quickly. Long Yu did not turn around, but Hua Lantang and Dai Yu Yang stopped in their tracks. They turned around swiftly. Gu's ability was extraordinary. She could teleport herself together with her comrades. That was why they had to guard against this ability of hers. As for Long Yu's situation of being alone at the front, they were not worried. In their eyes, Long Yu could unleash his entire strength and defeat everyone from Shrek Academy all by himself. Gu pointed at something in the air. She seemed not to have noticed the debilitating halo and elemental stripping halo which covered her. A gust of wild wind blew with her body as the center. Shortly after, she smacked forward with her right palm. A patch of glaring light halo suddenly rose up. It turned into a huge blue fireball with a diameter of 1 meter. It shot out straight toward Su Mu. Wind attribute? Fire attribute? Contestant Gu has unleashed elemental attacks of the wind and fire attributes at the same time. What is her martial soul? Asked Fanger in surprise. The wild wind swept across the stage and spread outward. At the same time, it pressed toward Hua Lantang and Dai Yu Yang who were charging toward her from behind. Amidst the wild wind, the wind blades resisted the advancement of Hua Lantang and Dai Yu Yang. The power of the devouring halo was formidable when faced head-on. However, when it collided with the wind blades, the effect of the devouring halo weakened quickly. The huge blue fireball drew a parabola in the air. It rode on its momentum and passed over the devouring halo from above. Its target was Pagoda King Yi Ji behind Su Mu. Yi had unleashed and donned her battle armor the first chance she got. Her battle armor was mainly used for defense. Her defensive powers were the strongest among her team with the exception of Long Yu. Fox King Sumu felt a chill running down his spine. He instinctively took a step back and raised his right arm. A pitch-black halo was unleashed toward the skies. It was another devouring halo. The power of the devouring halo was stronger, although the range it covered was relatively smaller. Each time he unleashed it, he could only cover an area with a 10-meter diameter. It was unleashed vertically instead of emerging from the ground as the other ordinary halos. However, a situation which astonished him occurred. The blue fireball swayed gently in the air, displaying horizontal movement, and fell from the skies. It had surprisingly sidestepped his devouring halo and fell directly on Yi's body. A loud rumble was heard. Yi's battle armor shone brightly, and she reeled from the explosion. The enhancement she was giving her comrades was interrupted abruptly. What just happened? The team from Monster Academy was stunned. Their support system Soul Master was attacked at the beginning, which cut off the support they received. This has never occurred in the history of their team battles. However, this was only the beginning. A faint circle of light rippled outward from Yu's body. She raised her right hand and another blue fireball flew out. This time, it headed straight toward Sumu. This video will end here. Like video and subscribe to my channel.